Fairly good news for international travellers. Britain has decided to scrap its tough COVID-19 quarantine requirements for 47 countries, including India. People who are vaccinated with the WHO-approved Covishield in India will now be able to travel to the UK from the 11th of October and will not need to quarantine for 10 days anymore. This specific point has been a bitter bone of contention between the two countries, with India also retaliating by imposing the same measures for UK travellers. Those fully vaccinated will now no longer be required to take a pre-departure test, nor the 8-day test after their arrival, but just a test on day 2 of arrival. For those who are partially vaccinated or have received a vaccine not approved by the WHO, the earlier rules remain. Now, this includes compulsory pre-departure test, COVID-19 test on day 2 and day 8 of arrival, and self-isolation for 10 days. The British High Commissioner to India, Alex Ellis, tweeted the new rules and thanked the Indian government for their cooperation.
From Monday, the 11th of October, a traveller from India to the UK, double jabbed with Covishield or another vaccine recognised by the UK regulator, does not have to quarantine. So it'll be easier and cheaper to enter the UK. This is great news. We have been actually open for Indian travellers for months. We've been issuing thousands of visas to students, to business travellers, to tourists. And it's the product of excellent discussions with the Indian authorities. So let's now go further. Let's open up more flights between the two countries. Let's get British tourists able to come into India. They're desperate to do so. Let's facilitate business travellers who are trying to come into India with e-visas.
Now, Britain has scrapped COVID quarantine measures for 47 countries. Other countries include South Africa and Thailand. Only 7 countries remain in the red list, including Colombia, Ecuador, Panama and Venezuela. Transport Minister Grant Shapps said that the requirement for day 2 test will also be replaced from the expensive RT-PCR test to a lateral flow test, making it more convenient for travellers. Listen in to what Shapps had to say.
One of the great things now with people fully vaccinated from the UK is it's much easier to allow people to travel and also to accept 37 other countries whose vaccinations we will now be able to accept. We will still want to have that check-in of a lateral flow test, but of course if that turns out to be positive, people will be able to immediately take a PCR test.
The British tourism industry has essentially lost 2 full summers due to travel restrictions imposed to contain the spread of the virus. Budget airlines like Ryanair and EasyJet have said that the changing restrictions have delayed recovery in the sector, leaving the British airline industry lagging behind its European peers. Now, for more on this, let's go across to Chris Jones, who is joining us live from London. Chris, thanks for being with us on this broadcast. Now, the issue became a bone of contention between the Indian and the UK government. Finally, the matter seems to have been resolved. What more can you add on the UK government's decision to away with the quarantine for vaccinated travellers from 47 countries, including India?
Well, we did see that massive kind of overhaul to the UK's red list, as you rightly say. Only 7 remain now, but we also saw the kind of acceptance of vaccine certification from the likes of India, and that's of great relief to people in India who will now be able to travel to the UK without quarantine, and that's going to make it so much less expensive and open up a kind of a corridor to more business, more education, but it will also be a relief to the tourism industry. The Transport Minister Grant Shapps tweeting yesterday that the measures announced today mark the next step as we continue to open up travel and provide stability for passengers and an industry while keeping on track to keep travel open for good. And not only will this open the tourism industry and business to Indian travellers to the UK, it will also open a door to people from India who have not seen loved ones in the UK for such a long time. So it will make it a lot cheaper and easier to come to the UK. So big changes announced from the UK yesterday.
Right, and also from India's viewpoint, while those who've received the Covishield vaccine are considered to be treated and vaccinated, but those who receive the Indian-made vaccine Covishield, they will still have to undergo the mandatory quarantine. What more can you add on that?
So the issue is that vaccine is not kind of WHO approved. Now the UK is saying that the likes of Covishield and all the other kind of UK vaccines used in the UK are kind of approved for use in the UK. So that's why they're allowing people in India who have had Covishield or another UK approved vaccine to travel there. Really what they're trying to ward off is variants of concern and to keep on top of the level of COVID cases in the country. The last thing they want is to go back to another kind of massive peak that we saw earlier in the year. So the UK is really keeping a tight grip on the types of the people who have been vaccinated and with what vaccine who come into the UK.
Right, Chris, thank you very much for bringing us all the latest details on that story and the UK opening up.
WION, now available in your country. Download the app now. Get all the news on the move.